calling on yourself is a technique for developing more self-reliance, more self-awareness, more compassion for the self, more love for the self, more connection with the self. And it's also a way to detach ourselves from this constant need for outside validation or this constant need for outside direction in order to find our way in life. And so what I challenge you to do is wait for the next moment that you get this craving to call on something outside of yourself or rely on something outside of yourself or reach for something. So we get these moments where we feel really uncomfortable. We are having some sort of negative emotion. We're feeling really confused and turned around and lost, misdirected, uncertain. And so what we want to do is we want to call our best friend. We want to call our favorite aunt. We want to make an appointment with a therapist. We want to talk to our lover. We want to have a drink and take the edge off. We want to potentially go for a long run. We want to veg out on some Netflix. You know that feeling, okay? So take that moment where you're feeling this like need, this insatiability, this need and desire to like fill this hole with something outside of yourself. And instead, I want you to change the direction of the output of that emotion or that intensity or that feeling. So instead of shooting it outward somewhere in some way, shape, or form, in some vice or coping strategy that we all tend to use, I want you to instead call on yourself. So pick up your phone. Phone's over there. Pull up your voice memo app if you're an iPhone user. There's lots of other recording apps. Pull one of them up, hit record, and talk on the phone as though there were someone else on the other end of the line. Speak your truth, talk through the problem, vent, let it out, express, okay? Another way, make a confessional video, much like the one you see me making right now. Take your iPhone, put it on a tripod, prop it up on something, hit record, talk it out, release it, whatever it is. No script, no plan, just let free flow, just let it out like you would if you were video conferencing with someone who you really, really trust and constantly depend on. Another way, sending an email to yourself, sending a Facebook message. I don't know if you know this, but you can actually Facebook message yourself. But I actually think the talking, the auditory part of this is really powerful. So I recommend either doing the voice, if you can, or the video. And if you're in a public place and you can't access those methods, then do the messaging, the texting, or the email. And then later, maybe give it about 3 days. I think that's a good odd number. I want you to watch yourself, and I want you to listen to yourself, and I want you to hear yourself, and I want you to see yourself, and I want you to reflect upon yourself. And what I think this does, or at least what it did for me, excuse me, is it helped me to have more compassion for myself. It helped me to have a broader perspective on myself. And so it basically allows you to be both the pitcher and the catcher in the game. And the giver and the receiver of the content. It helps you to be the friend who's struggling and the friend who's consoling. And it's really interesting to walk on either end of those lenses with yourself. And so what it does is it kind of like opens the periphery and sort of the widescreen on like who you are as a person, and helps you to see underneath those emotional outbursts or emotional reactivity that tends to flow out of us in the moment of intensity and the moment of heat. And it allows us to get a much deeper sense of where that's coming from, because we end up becoming our own neutral observer, our own witness to self-evolution. So it's a really fascinating process, and you don't have to feel like you need to share these with anyone at any moment, but maybe you will. Maybe you'll make art out of it one day. Maybe you'll delete them all one day in one fell swoop. That's totally up to you. But I think the benefits are many. Learning how to be more vulnerable and be more present and be more real and be more trusting of ourselves, like that I can handle this on my own. I don't need anybody else or anything else to sort it out for me. That in the process of talking through my own problems, I arrive at my own solution, whether in the moment of the speaking or in the moment of the reflecting. So that's all I got for now. To learn more about my story and how I've used the Calling on Yourself method throughout my healing journey, watch the featured video on the Living Beta Facebook page.